Hey guys, today we are talking about section 2-3 and its linear functions and slope-intercept form. So the first thing we are going to talk about is slope. So in this section we're only talking about lines, and the slope is going to be the vertical change over the horizontal change. You mainly know the slope as the rise over the run, which is the same thing as the vertical change over the horizontal change, which is also the same as the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's look at how to find the slope between 2 points. Our 2 points are 5, 4 and 8, 1. So the 5 is x1, the 4 is y1, the 8 is x2, the 1 is y2. And if we use our formula, we are going to do y2, so 1 minus y1, which is 4, divided by x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is 5. So 1 minus 4 is negative 3, and 8 minus 5 is positive 3, and negative 3 divided by 3 gives me a slope of negative 1. Okay, so let's let you guys try example 2. Again, you are finding the slope in between these 2 points. x1, y1, x2, y2. So that's going to give me negative 3 minus negative 3 over negative 5 minus 2. A negative and a negative make a positive, so negative 3 plus 3 gives me 0 on the top. Negative 5 minus 2 gives me negative 7 on the bottom, and I hope you know that 0 divided by negative 7 is 0. It has a slope of 0. In example 3, we are still finding the slope, and I want you to know that if you labeled them differently than what I have, you should still get the exact same answer. Just make sure in each point, if you were to reverse these, 9 would be x1 and negative 4 would be y1, and then the 9 and the other one would be x2 and the 3 would be y2. So you can reverse them as long as you keep them both the 1 and the 2. So let's look at this example. So if I did negative 4 minus 3 divided by 9 minus 9, that gives me negative 7 on the top and 0 on the bottom. Am I allowed to divide by 0? You're not allowed to. So this slope is considered an undefined slope. A line with positive slope looks like this. And we say that the line rises from left to right. We say a line has negative slope if it looks like this, and we say that the line falls from left to right. A line has 0 slope if it looks like this. It's not rising or falling at all, and this is a horizontal line. We say a line has undefined slope if it looks like this. It's a vertical line. I've hoped you've noticed that all of these graphs have been lines, so that makes all of these linear functions. So in every line, if it goes through your y-axis, This point where it goes through your y-axis is considered your y-intercept. Where the line crosses your x-axis is considered to be your x-intercept. You guys are very used to seeing the equation of a line written in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is your slope that we found earlier. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then b is your y-intercept. So where your line goes through your y-axis. In example 4, let's write our first linear equation. So it gives us that we have m equals 6, which means the slope is 6, and the y-intercept is the point 0, 5. So when we're writing our equation in slope-intercept form, all what we have to do is plug this in. So my m, my slope is 6. My y-intercept, I know it's written as a point, but that just shows you that it does go through your y-axis, so it's at positive 5. So your equation for this line is y equals 6x plus 5. Now let's look at how to write the equation of a line when we are given a graph. And if you notice on your graph, you are given 2 points. So this point is the point 0, negative 3. This is the point negative 2, negative 2. And again, I'm trying to write my equation of a line in y equals mx plus b, so in slope-intercept form. So I can find my slope by using my equation, so y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So it doesn't matter which one you choose to be x1 and y1. I'm choosing mine like so. So I'm going to do negative 3 minus negative 2 divided by 0 minus negative 2. Again, a negative and a negative make this a positive. So negative 3 plus 2 gives me negative 1. 0 plus 2 gives me 2. So I have a slope of negative 1/2. And if you were to count the rise over the run, from here to here, you went down 1 into the right 2. Also, if we went back to that table I made you in the front, the line falls as it moves from left to right, so therefore you would know that your slope has to be negative. And then this point right here is where it goes through my y-axis, so this number right here is actually my b value because it's my y-intercept. So my equation of a line is going to be y equals negative 1/2 x and then minus 3 since it was negative 3. In example 6, we want to be writing our equations in slope-intercept form. So it gives me 3x plus 2y equals 18, and I'm trying to make it in the form y equals mx plus b. So that means I need to solve for this y right here. So I first need to move my 3x. So since it's positive, I need to subtract it. So that gives me 2y. And then I'm going to write the minus 3x first because if you notice over here, mx comes first. And then it'll be plus 18 because it was a positive 18. Now I need to get rid of my 2, and this is where a lot of you guys make a mistake. You have to divide everything by 2. So that gives me y equals negative 3/2 x, and then 18 divided by 2 gives you positive 9. Okay, from this equation, I want you to tell me what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. So the slope is what is in front of your x when y is all by itself, so my slope should be negative 3/2. And then your y-intercept is your number at the end, so since it's positive 9, my y-intercept is 0, 9. Make sure you're writing it as a point because it's a point that lies on the y-axis. So press pause, and I want you guys to take a second to solve negative 7x minus 5y equals 35, and you're putting it in slope-intercept form. So I need to solve for my y value, so I need to move my x to the other side. So that gives me negative 5y. Again, I'm going to write my x first because I know it goes mx plus b. It was positive 35, so I write plus 35. I need to get rid of my negative 5 that's in front of my y. Remember, you divide everything by negative 5, so that gives me y equals negative 7/5 x, and then 35 divided by negative 5 gives me negative 7. Again, I want you to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope is what's in front of x, so that gives me negative 7/5. The y-intercept is the number at the end, so it should be 0, negative 7. Okay, in example 8, we are actually going to graph our linear equations. So if you notice in this equation, it is not in my slope-intercept form. So we are going to continue to practice that. So I need to move my positive 4x to the other side. So that means I'm going to subtract it. And then I need to get rid of my negative 7, so that gives me y equals a negative and a negative make a positive 4/7 x, and then 14 divided by negative 7 is negative 2. So when I go to graph this, the first thing I am going to graph is my y-intercept. So my y-intercept is this negative 2 that's at the end, which means it goes through my y-axis at negative 2. So I'm going to put a dot right there. Now, the next thing I am going to graph is my slope. So the top number is my rise, the bottom number is my run. So from my y-intercept, I am going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And where those meet is where my second dot is. Okay, so again, to explain that better, from here to here I rose a distance of 4. From here to here I ran a distance of 7. 2 points make a line, so connect them, and your graph should look like so. It makes sense because if you think about it, I have a positive 4/7 slope and my graph is rising as it's moving from left to right. So press pause right now, and I want you to graph 2x plus 3y equals 6. First, I need to get it in my slope-intercept form, so I'm going to subtract 2x. And then I need to get rid of my 3, so I'm going to divide everything by 3. Alright, now that I have that, I'm going to start my graph. This time, if you notice, my y-intercept is a positive 2, so that means on my y-axis it is at positive 2. Now my slope is negative 2/3, so that means my rise is negative 2, which means I'm going to go down 2. And then my run is 3, so I'm going to go to the right 3. So I go down 2, 1, 2, and then I go to right, 1, 2, 3, and here's my second dot. So again, here is my rise of negative 2. Here is my run of 3. 2 points make a line, so we are going to connect them, and your graph should look like so.